Y'all ready? All right. A Christmas story. Well, part of it. No, last week we talked about the shepherds. This week we're talking about the wise men. So, we're going to go to Luke. No, not Luke. Matthew, chapter 2. Think about what my wife was saying earlier. So, Matthew chapter 2 is where we're going to head today. Matthew chapter 2. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered the chief priests and scribes of the people together, inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. So they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are not the least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you shall come a ruler, who shall shepherd my people of Israel. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word to me, that I may come and worship him also. Herod's kind of trying to be deceiving here. 9. When I heard the king, they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced in exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way. So these wise men, they traveled afar, right? And they followed the star, they got there, and they saw how beautiful baby Jesus was. They listened to God and his warning, and which was not to go back to Herod. So they all left to their own country in a different way so that Herod couldn't find them, right? The thing here is that the wise men were sent by Herod, because Herod was trying to deceive them. I want you to go to Bethlehem. I want you to go find this baby. Tell me where he's at. Give me the location, because this is a problem. If there's a king that's supposed to be above all kings, there's a problem, because I'm king, right? You little greedy sucker, right? He's like, I'm king. This is going to be a problem. So he gets them, and the thing that I love is that you have the wise men, and they take off, and they're excited, because they know they have the star of Bethlehem. They know where they're headed. They know who they're going to go see. And when they go see, they're so excited. They're celebrating. They're happy, right? And then God tells them and warns them, hey, don't go back to Herod, because that's going to be a problem. I need you to go back to where you came from, but just don't go back to Herod, right? The thing is when that happened, they put God above Herod's rule. Amen. You understand that? So Herod's king, you're supposed to listen to the king, right? And see, this is another thing. In America, this is a little different because we have democracy, right? So we're used to some dude listening to a bunch of dudes complain about other things, and that's how they make decisions, right? In that world, kings were the main way of governing people, okay? So this is huge. And when the king told you to do something, you should probably do it. But in that sense, they took God's rule over Herod's rule. They listened to God first. And when God said, do not go back to Herod, they didn't go back to Herod. They made sure of it. They put God first. It's something that we should be doing in our lives, in our families, and when we lead our families and when we take care of our families, and the decisions we make on a moment-to-moment basis should be putting God first. You know, and I heard this in the past couple of weeks, is when you have a problem or you're stressed or anxiety or depression, like therapy and stuff can be good, but seek God first. Put God first in every moment, in everything. If you have something bad happen, go to Him. If you have something good happen, go to Him. If you have something sad happen, go to Him. Go to God first. When the wise men went to God, God gave them instruction. They followed that instruction regardless of what man said. He put God first. So the wise men take off, go back to their original countries. Verse 13. Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, flee to Egypt and stay there until I bring you word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, Joseph, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt. Now, this isn't the first time God talked to Joseph this way, right? He talked this way when Jesus was going to be born, when Mary was impregnated. He knew about this, and he listened to Christ. He listened to God. He listened, and he did what he was told. He put his faith above all else. So many people struggle with that today. They don't put God first. That's such a terrifying thing to me, but they don't put God first. They just, I'm trying to push that. But 14, when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod. And it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I called my son. Right? Now, one of the things I was going to bring up today is a lot of times in song and in other stories when they explain this, they always call the wise king or the wise men kings. And I found the history behind that. So I want to kind of explain why they're called kings, why they're considered kings, what the thought process is. Okay? Early Jews used the Old Testament to help explain the New Testament, which is what we do today, right? We go back in the Old Testament and the prophecy so we can understand that the promises he made then are the promises that he made, or what came true today. Okay? So in saying that, the one that they're taking from is in Psalm, and it's in Psalm 72. Okay? And in Psalm 72, this is where they get it. Psalm 72, it's verse 10 and 11. The kings of Tarshish and of the isles will bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba will offer gifts. Yes, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. These are the two verses that the early Christians, the early Jews, would use to the prophecy of the coming Messiah. Okay? And so these are the verses of why people consider those kings. Now they also do it because of the gifts they brought. They brought gold and frankincense and myrrh. These aren't cheap gifts, right? They're kind of lavish in a way. And so it's not exact because we don't have any specific information. We got an idea of what their names might be, but we're not 100% on that. We're not exactly which countries they were from, right? We don't have that information. What we know is that wise men came and offered gifts to baby Jesus. Now, that's just a